Good afternoon. For those of you that know me, know that my name is Adam Dicker. I run the Art of the Name on Facebook, and I've been in domains for about 23, 24 years. I was the vice president of GoDaddy for 8 years, and I've been buying and selling names for a very long time. Had a lot of experience in it, and I really enjoy buying and selling domains, just domaining in general. I'm happy to be back for 2024. This is the first show that I'm doing in 2024. And I thought what better to do it on than what people are always concerned about, how to manage their portfolios. And what matters when you're looking at managing your portfolio. And one of the things that I do, I have a large domain portfolio, and I was constantly evaluating the domains that I have in it and checking to see what I want to renew and what I wouldn't want to renew and what I'd let expire. Sometimes we get emotionally tied to domains. Sometimes we keep them longer than we should. Other times they just, they're trends. We buy things like after Blu-ray was supposed to be Violet Rays, so I invested in some Violet Ray domains. They never took off. So you have to know when to come in and come out of trends and just look at your portfolio completely. You can ask questions. I'm happy to take questions. It is a live show. I'm going to go over some of the things that are important when you're looking at evaluating your portfolio and how to decide which names to keep and which names to drop. So one of the things that you always want to consider is, yes, things are trendy, like Violet Ray disks and blockchain phone numbers, which may or may not be a thing eventually. Obviously, AI is the latest thing, and it's here to stay. So you want to look at domains from at your portfolio and put them into a spreadsheet or into a software tool where you can analyze and see what they're doing. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, the domain you're thinking of renewing, does it make any money? So if the answer is no, then you know that that's probably one thing that will go against it. If the answer is yes, then you probably want to see if it makes more than the registration fee. Now, some domains have a $10 registration fee, like a .com or a .ca, while others could be $120 to $160 for 2 years, like the .ais. So you want to make sure that it's valuable based on what you're paying for it and what it's been registered for and what it's going to cost you. You want to see if the domain has any traffic to it. So if you've got the domain parked on Dan or Afternic or GoDaddy, how many visitors are actually going to that domain name? And then from there, you can decide if it's interest or they're just going there because maybe it's Orlando Painters and they're actually just looking for a painter, but they're not looking to purchase a domain name. So you have to figure out that kind of traffic as well. Have you ever received offers on the domain name? Is there anybody that's ever expressed any interest in it? Is there anybody that's ever contacted you about a domain name? I mean, that's something to consider too, because a lot of times you'll get people reach out to you and they're interested. Maybe the price wasn't right, but at least you know that they're interested. Even if they lowball you on the domain, at least you know somebody has interest in it. The other big thing that people always need to consider is, take the domain name by itself without the .com or the .ai or the .io and Google it and see how many exact matches there are for that specific domain name. And I'll show you a couple of examples as we go through it later. But if there's no reason any company would want to buy your domain name, there's probably not much sense in you keeping it. So if it hasn't had any offers, it's not a domain that somebody would want to buy for their company. It doesn't have any traffic on the park page. Those are some strong indicators that you should probably let it go. And see, does it have strong brand potential? Now, the problem is brands are catchy and memorable, but we're not Google and we're not Bing and we're not some other names that are going to come out there and catch fire and be brandable. So that doesn't really matter for purpose of evaluating your portfolio. Don't just decide to keep it because you think it's brandable and it's going to be good. Again, what's the traffic volume on it? Is it real traffic? You can add Google Analytics to it through Dan, or you can add analytics to your park pages or your domains if you're developing them. But you want to make sure that you're checking the traffic and making sure that there is some potential for that there. But also take, like I said, there was a name that dropped before and it was Synergy something. And then everybody went and looked how many companies had Synergy in it, and there were lots. So it was easily a name that it could be purchased by multiple companies. So that's something you want to look at. We will be going through a list of names that are available for registration that you may be able to register and go grab now if you're faster than the person next to you. We're also going to look at some names that are going to be dropping this week that you could register or back order if you decide you like them. Does the name that in your portfolio have potential for development? Like, if you've got hundreds of names and you're looking at 50 as potential development, that's not realistic. So you probably want to look at maybe a few and decide which one of those few you're actually going to develop. I'm guilty of this all the time. I just went through and did a whole bunch of renewals and things on my names, and I found some that I forgot about. Sometimes I go to register names that I already own, so that's kind of funny too. But you want to make sure that if you do pick one, you can, first of all, you can only develop out one at a time. So you have to pick one business that you want to develop out and stick to it and turn that into a business that can hopefully bring you in monthly revenue. That's part of your portfolio management, is figuring out which domains that you have that are worth building out and which ones you're just going to sit around and wait till somebody gives you an offer. And again, even if you have a company who would be interested in using your name as a brand, how actively are you trying to sell that domain name? You have to actively try to do something. And I made a couple mistakes previously where I guess I had some domain names and I didn't do anything with them and I just sat on them. And well, if you sit on them, a lot of times nobody's going to find you. They don't even know they're available. Even with somebody who goes and they buy a .io, let's say they wanted, I don't know, blackcats.com, just making it up, and they couldn't find it, so they just went to blackcats.io and registered it. Half the time it's because they just saw it was taken and didn't realize that they could even go and talk to the person, so they don't even know it's available. I did get a message also the other day from somebody who sent my sister-in-law an email about getting wills in and estates in Toronto and getting clients for that and things like that. And she asked me if she would benefit by owning wills and or estates, Toronto Wills and Estates.com. And I said, no, they're just trying to send you a standard sales email. And then I told her I had estate wills she could use if she really wanted to use it. So people are obviously responding to those emails. If she asked me about it, that means that a lot of people are actually going through and buying those emails. This one was for $500, I believe, but it was like a $10 registration. Anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand. So check your portfolio, isolate them, put them on a spreadsheet or however you do it, put down how much money each domain has made in the last year or 2 years or whatever it is, and then break it down per year. Figure out how much traffic the domain has had in the last year or 2 years. Figure out if you've got any offers or received any even contacts or questions about the domain name. And then look how many, and put the number in the spreadsheet, how many companies could use this domain or shorten their existing name to use your domain name for their business. Those are the biggest things. And then the other thing is that people forget is you have to actively try and sell the domain name. If you just sit on it, you're not going to have as many buyers as if you go out and actively try to sell it. The problem with going out and actively selling it is you give up a little bit of leverage. Obviously, if somebody knows you want to sell something, they have you at a disadvantage because they know that you're the one coming after them rather than them coming after you. But if you paid $10 for the domain name anywhere, 20 or 50 or 100, and you're talking 1,000 or a couple thousand or 500, go ahead and do that anyway. Strong brand potential. We talked about that. Brand potential doesn't really matter for managing your portfolio. Again, look at the development, but don't think you've got 10 or 20 names that you think you can develop, because that's simply not the case. You'll be lucky if you can develop out 1 or 2 a year and actually turn those into big businesses. That's your goal, is to take that one great domain that you have and turn it into a viable business. You could be keeping domains because they're intellectual property or legal protection. Maybe you own the singular and you want to keep the plural. Maybe it's your name. Maybe it's a company that you want to start, something like that. That's okay. But obviously make sure that you don't keep any names that have any trademarks of other companies in them, because that wouldn't be good at all. You could be fined $100,000 per name plus any revenue you've made off that name. So that's it. And then just decide what is actually influencing you in deciding to keep that name. A lot of times it's just because you can't let go. I have the same problem. A lot of times I just can't let go of a really good domain name that I like because I thought it was going to be good. And then you end up with thousands and thousands in your portfolio like I have. And at some point you still have to filter it down. I think that literally I dropped am dropping 1,000 names in the next 6 months just because the angle that I'm heading and the choices I've made with development and with investing has changed a little bit over the years. So we'll see. I tried to filter some out. I took a list of 850 and then I couldn't filter many out. I got frustrated and then just put it aside, but eventually I have to go back to it. Again, also make sure that your renewal costs are affordable. It's extremely important to make sure your renewal costs are affordable, and you're keeping an eye on that. You have to run your business if it's for profit, so make sure that you're doing that. I'll take a look and see if there's any questions or comments yet. There are just a couple of highs, which is good. And I know the people who are saying hi. It's not surprising. So that's the thing. You just have to manage your portfolio like it's a business. If it's not profitable, you have to decide what to let go. And maybe it's not profitable because you're not doing anything. That seems to be the biggest problem with domainers or people who gather domains, and they kind of hope that somebody's going to come to them with that lottery ticket. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes you have those big sales like forums.com for 400 or 500K. Like I had, but you also have to have the right domain names to do that. And if you've got 2 or 3 word domain names, chances are you're going to have to market it out there and get them out to people that are out there. Acronyms, those things are always good. Short domains are always saleable. There's always good things with that. So I went through the list of domains. Anybody have any questions on portfolios? Feel free to ask now or later. I'm happy either way. Or you can just say hi. Good to see you. I'm going to take a look at some of the domain names now that are actually available to register. So I'm going to give you some names and you can decide if you want to get them. And I'll tell you why I took them or why I didn't take any of them, why I put them on the list and thought maybe they would be interesting. And then I put some examples of names that you shouldn't get for certain reasons, and I'll explain those to you as we go. So the first one that is available that I found interesting was Incident Attorney. Incident Attorney. It's available and it's about $260 a click. It sounds pretty interesting because I see lots of incidents that would need an attorney. That's one. The next one is, and this is for an extermination company, I would think. This would be the mouseguy.com, which I think is a pretty brandable name for a guy who does pest control or things like that. Then after that, I couldn't figure out what I want to do with this one, but it's available as also for registration, somebodyhitme.com. Now, I'm sure there's lots of volunteers out there who would like to hit me, but for now, somebody hit me. I thought it would be good for an accident or a lawyer or some sort of a company that I just think a lawyer would be good for car accidents or something like that. It's very brandable. So I think that's good. I think the next one, fragrance bars. I'm not really sure if that's a thing, but it sounded good. It's got a lot of, again, $9.42 a click. None of these are important if you're just going to buy them and sell them. Then there's this one, which is a longer tail domain, secure documentation. So for me, I would think secure docs would be better, but I mean, you could probably still get away with setting up a secure docs company with secure documentation. It could be any type of thing that you want to do. Then if we go into a couple local domains, we look at Suffolk, SUFFOLK painters.com is available. Again, a lot of times the singular is more popular in services, depends on the service. If you're a painting company, you've got multiple painters, Suffolk Painters is okay. It's about $5.49 a click, and I purposely left this one in here because you want to have the city in front of the service all the time. Don't believe what everybody tells you. Always put the city in front of the service. Then there's another one that I left on here. It's $116 a click called Leggett, Leggett, plumbing.com. It's an interesting domain name, but you have to see there is a company called Leggett Plumbing. Obviously, you don't want to interfere with their trademark, but you want to see if there's other companies that may be interested in buying that domain name. But if it's just for the one company, I'd steer clear of it. The other thing that I found, which was like synergy, is stratosphereproductions.com at $34 a click. There is a company called Stratosphere Productions, but there's also a lot of production companies that have Stratosphere as their name. So you may want to take a look at that one as well. Not sure I'd register it, just something to look at. And if you want something a bit more generic, this is pretty good for those of you that need to take, or people that need to take their vitals at home. Vitalsmachines.com, Vitalsmachines. Not bad for the people that take their blood pressure or whatever else they take at home. There's lots of different things. Auto Diffuser has 40,500 searches, so it's a big one. I think it's used for, I don't know, but I think diffusers are used for vaping or some other activity. It's auto, AUTO, diffuser.com, DIFFUSER.com. And then another one that is probably going to be popular and somebody's going to register this one, Prostrate Vitamins, prostratevitamins.com. Lots of activities, and now that I think about it, it's PROSTRATE vitamins.com. I don't know if it's prostate or prostrate anymore. Anyway, so you may want to look at that. And then that's got 3,600 searches a month, so that's a decent name. And then just yesterday, BeatlesShirt.com dropped. Beatles, like the band, BeatlesShirt.com. The two S's are in there for the S on Beatles and the S on shirt. So I always watch those. It's got 2,000. It's been registered since 2009, so it's still a pretty good domain name. Robert says prostate, not prostrate. Good, got it. So we won't need that. So Beatles shirts, Beatles shirt is available. Then there's another one that I thought was interesting, Oak Shelving, oakshelving.com. If you're a shelving company, it's probably pretty good. This one I didn't really know what it was, but sounded good. Greenhouse candles, if there's certain types of candles that you want to put in a greenhouse or that go better for growing, great. I have two more. One of them I think is really good. I'm going to save that till the end. This one is an interesting business though, miniaturemonuments.com, miniaturemonuments.com. I mean, I could see that being a business. I could see somebody wanting to go and buy a small Eiffel Tower or a small Leaning Tower of Pisa or CN Tower or something like that. So I think that's kind of interesting too. I don't know. I think it could be a business. It's been registered for a long time and now it's just dropping. So that's the other one. Now, the big one that I haven't given you yet, which I'm going to give you now, it's going to be the fastest fingers wins. This is a good one. I even thought about registering it myself ahead of time. So I'll tell you that it was registered in 1996. It would be a good competitor if you could build it to Zoom Info. And the name, if you're ready with your fast fingers, is called staffdirectories.com, staffdirectories.com. And I think it'd be a really good information where you could store like org charts for different companies and things like that and have phone numbers and contacts and emails and things like that. Good for leads, good for lead generation. I think it's a great name because people are always looking at Lead IQ or Apollo or Zoom Info to get leads. So staff directory sounds like a good one. So we'll take a look and see about that one. Those are all the available names. And now we're going to look at some of the domains that are dropping, but first I'm going to see if there's any questions. Nothing yet, so we're good. Okay, so let's take a look and see. These are the names that are dropping in the next few days. So you may want to take a look at them. I'm going to give you my reasons for thinking they're good domains, and you have to decide, obviously, it's whether it's worthwhile, whether you back order or not. There's a couple on here that I would back order myself, so let's just go through the list and see what you think. In the meantime, feel free to post any questions that you have about domains or websites or even AI, because I've become an AI expert in the last year, in the chat and in the comments, and I'm happy to walk you through that. So let's look at this. The first name that's dropping is called distancemove.com. Now, when you see a name like Distance Move, it doesn't sound grammatically correct, but I would also take a look when I see something like that and go after distance mover and distance movers and play with those words and see what you can do to maybe find the right domain that may be better. So just because you see something that's not grammatically correct, I wouldn't completely ignore it. Then there's two names that are related to donors and matching donors. Could be for obviously blood, organs, anything. Matchdonor.com and donormatches.com. Those are both good names. So match singular and donor, DONOR.com, and then donormatches.com plural. And then you start to see some cybersecurity names like oaklandcybersecurity.com. So for me, I think this is a little too localized. Obviously, if you're in the Oakland area and you want to cover all the companies in Oakland, it's a good name for you. Again, notice how the city is in front of cybersecurity. Decent name, probably not something I would register, but if you're in Oakland, it's okay. The next one kind of goes against my general rules, but I put it in here anyway. Queens Painters, Queens plural and Painters plural, because Queens is a large city in New York, and painters, well, there's going to be a lot of painters at that company. So I think that one's a decent one. The next one is more of a renovation term. It's interesting because I can't tell if I would like it or not like it. I think I would, but I don't know if it's the same in the US, Canada, England, or anywhere else. Housebathroom.com. Housebathroom.com. I think that would be good for renovations. I mean, home bathroom maybe, but house bathroom you maybe will get some traffic on. And then just ironically, you can see the Cowboys behind me. We got shellacked yesterday. Cowboyswin.com is dropping this week, and I have no interest in getting it. We lost, and it was horrible. Now here's a name. Here's one of the names that I considered getting myself. I wonder if I should give it to you now or wait. Let's give it to you now because you got to wait for it anyway on the drops. This one I think is a really good new a name for an AI website or something where you would want to automate lots of tasks. And it's one that I thought about picking up. It's called simplyautomate.com. And I don't think you could get a better domain name for brandable, for automation, and you could really link it towards AI. So I kind of like that one. Simplyautomate.com. Then you have infertilitywebsites.com. Now, I'm not big on this specific category, although infertility is extremely important. I just don't know if there's a lot of infertility companies looking for websites. But I do like it for other stuff, like if I'm looking for lawyer websites or attorney websites or pest control websites or stuff like that. And then you can completely go after the brand and take care of the whole category and say, look, I'm the expert in the brand. This is what we do. We take care of pest control from most of the websites that are out there. We build them and you build yourself a really good marketing company. So that's good. And I've got some other stuff to show you after we run through this list. So hang in there. We're going to do some AI stuff too as well. The next one is cybersecurity statistics. This may just be .com, sorry. This may just be good for stats or Google AdSense. I don't know if I'd bother with it. The next one I like. So, you have a lot of part-time, or what do they call them? I do it now too, marketers, where we work like a quarter of the time for a company. I'm at a loss, even though I've been doing it for quite a few companies where I am work for them a quarter, half time, a fractional marketer. Thank you. I reminded myself. This one is good for HR stuff. So if a company doesn't have an HR department, I thought staffcommunication.com would be good for a company who wants to do fractional AR work. HR work, sorry. So staffcommunication.com is dropping. And then keeping with the times, if you know how to bake cakes, gendercakes.com is dropping this week as well, Gender Cakes. Then this one's interesting. Again, not the right grammatics, but I think it's a good enough name to register it, and I would definitely register this one. Gums Doctor, G-U-M-S Doctor, like periodontist. Most people don't know what a periodontist is. I do because I had a root canal. But Gums Doctor, people look up gums and doctor, so that one's not really bad either. If you're in Lincoln, Nebraska, LincolnCleaners.com is out there. It could be anything from a laundromat to anything. It's not a bad name. Lincoln has a really good population. People collect all kinds of things that relate to animals, including me. I've had and owned maybe 30 different animal domain names like elephants.com, pig.com, giraffes.com. I've bought and sold all of them. And people used to always ask me for collectibles at these sites. So when I saw this name, I thought you could build a site and use it for an Amazon affiliate site or whatever you want. Bear, B-E-A-R, collectibles.com. So people like bears. It's the Chicago Bears, but obviously you wouldn't sell that one, but any bear collectibles. And then another good one that's coming out, if you want to sell autographs, or you have a card collection or something like that, and you want to sell autographed cards, autographed jerseys, whatever it is you want, autographcenter.com with the American spelling is dropping this week. Autograph Center, CENTER.com. And we switch a little bit to the medical category. I know the proper term is Bell's Palsy, BELLPALSY.com, but Bell Palsy without the S is dropping, and it has a fair bit of traffic. This next one is personal alarm. It would be good for alarm keychain. I mean, it's pretty good. You could sell a whole brand of alarm keychains on that. You could brand it and logo it, whatever you want. I don't know what this is, but it's got a lot of traffic. I had to Google it. Paddleboardwheels.com is dropping this week. And since you're paying attention, the singular is also dropping this week. So if you like paddle boards, Paddleboard Wheels and paddleboardwheel.com are dropping this week. If you're into keywords and you want a good thing for SEO or for keywords, addkeywords.com is dropping this week. And I think that's a pretty good brandable name for any company who does SEO. Add keywords to your website, add keywords to your blog, add keywords to anything. Add keywords seems to me like a really good brandable for a business. If you're into financial stuff, businesstermloans.com is expiring. Not something I'd grab, but still good. I am waiting on a one that I'm going to give you at the end of this. It's actually got a pay-per-click of $2,700. And don't buy it just for that. Buy it because you think you could build a really good site on it, and I'll give you that in a few minutes. It's only about 4 or 5 left. Car wheel cover is available for those of you that want or buy the sports wheel covers or university wheel covers and stuff like that. I don't know if the one with the S is available, so you'd have to check car wheel covers yourself, but I know car wheel cover drops this week, and since people only usually have one wheel cover at the back they cover on Jeeps and stuff, it's a good one. So we talked about AI names. Let's talk about a couple of AI names that are dropping this week that aren't bad. There's one here that I like better than the others, but I'm going to give you all 4. AI Renderings, AIRenderings.com. Not bad. It's my second favorite out of the 4. AI Sermons, SERMONS, AIsermons.com. And this one, if it had better grammar, I'd probably like it. Maybe somebody can do something with it. AI Wrote, WROTE.com, AI Wrote. And here's the one that I really like out of the 4, and it's dropping this week because I'm big into making images with Midjourney and with Bing and with ChatGPT and all that stuff. AI Stills, STILLS.com. To me, that's a really good site to go ahead and make really cool photos and sell them like you would like a photo gallery. AIStills.com. I think it's a pretty good name. I skipped the one that had, I thought I was done, but I skipped the one that had so much potential. So I'll go back to that now. So this one is dropping. I had to think about it and I had to figure out why it would be good. So it's good if you're going to offer, let's say, a clothing store, or let's say any kind of store, and any collegiate athlete or any athlete anywhere you want to give a discount to, you'll obviously get picked up very quick, and you'll be able to brand very quickly for it. And I think you'd really make a name for yourself. It's at $2,712.17 a click. What's the name? athletesdiscount.com. athletesdiscount.com. So you could build yourself as a site that sells athletes, clothes, athletes, anything for athletes, water bottles, whatever it is, but it gives a specific discount for all athletes. Sounds pretty good. Somebody's asking, where can we find these drops? You can find them. I just look for them on, and the thing is, I've done this for so many years, so I can look through a list of 1,000 or 1,500 or 5,000 names in like 15, 20 minutes. So I just took a look on expireddomains.net, and from there I was able to just pick the ones that I was interested in. At some point, I'll show you in a future video on how to do it, but that's where you would check expireddomains.net, and it's a really good system. So now I'm going to switch over. I'll see if you guys have any other questions besides what you've already asked. And then I'm going to switch over and show you some AI stuff that I think you guys are going to like. Simple stuff, and then we're going to make it much more complex and much more complicated. So it's basically how to write emails for domains you already own, and how to find the traffic and things like that with it. So I'm going to switch over to share my screen now with you guys, and then we'll go to that. And then feel free to ask any questions after that. So I'm just going to grab my window. Okay, so pretty soon you'll see my window. You should see it now. I'll make it bigger for you so it's not like a horrible eyesore. So for this one, I used Orlando HVAC just because it's the example that I used in my example of the email that I used ChatGPT to write with. All I really want to do is type in Orlando HVAC, see how many people here are buying ads for it, which is a lot, and then also go in to see this search volume. So you get this search volume and the cost per click and the competition if you have the keywords discovery tool installed on your in your Chrome. I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like this here. So that's, oh, sorry, it's called Keywords Everywhere. So you want to get keywords everywhere. And what it allows you to do is it'll automatically, anytime I search anything, it'll actually put in the keyword here, how much it's worth. So I'll just pick Orlando Pest Control just so you can see, and it'll tell me how many people search per month for Orlando Pest Control. 2,900 a month search for Orlando Pest Control, average $8.67 a click, and it's got a low competition because it's a city and it's pest control. You could probably get well indexed for it. So for that, again, you want to get keywords everywhere and install it. It's really cheap. I think I bought 100,000 credits for like $10 or $15. You can also, the neat thing about it also is if you have a bunch of stuff, like I took my domains and I put them all in here, and I took off all of the COM or CA or whatever, and then I was able to get a full report on all of them and tell me what the keyword traffic was to all the domains I was deciding whether to drop or not, and that helped me with a few different things. So it's a good idea to use. So we've done with Orlando Pest Control. Let's go back over to here. So I said, write a good email that would help me sell OrlandoHVAC.com to HVAC companies in Orlando and point at the benefits of exact match domains, as well as the fact that Orlando HVAC has 720 people in Orlando looking for the exactly what their business sells. So then it did this. It gave me this subject line: enhance your business. I'll make it a bit bigger. Enhance your business visibility in Orlando with a prime HVAC domain. It gave me good stuff, but it was too long. And I know me personally and anybody we're going to send it to, too long. So I said, okay, I told it, great, thank you, shorten it. And then it shortened it a bit more. Exclusive opportunity, acquire Orlando HVAC to boost your business. And then it shortened it a little bit. Now it just gave me exact match domain. Domain directly matches a common search term for HVAC, boosting your SEO and online visibility. You've already got 720 searches a month looking for your exact services. So you're tapping into a market you're already in. Gives you a competitive edge because you've got the exact match domain name, and it gives you marketing efficiency. So it says, we believe in just purchasing, but strategic investment in your brand's future, blah, blah, blah. Happy to discuss it with you and set up a meeting. And I said, let's shorten it even further. So now it says, boost your HVAC business instantly with OrlandoHVAC.com. This one was more my style. Dear recipient, obviously you'll put that in. And I'm going to teach you in a future video how to use a product called GMAS to be able to pull every HVAC business in Orlando and then be able to email them and see if they're interested, and have them each get different custom emails addressed to them. So it's not, it'll be like Dear Paul, Dear James, Dear Betty, Dear Carol. It's not going to all be Dear Sir. So anyway, here it is, unique opportunity, own it, direct matches of 720, connect instantly with customers specifically searching for HVAC in Orlando, enhance visibility, get a competitive advantage. Contact me if you're interested and we can chat. To me, that was a much better email for what I'm doing, and it would keep my attention for as long as I needed it or could give it to them, so it wasn't that long. So we can write all kinds of emails for all kinds of different things, and I've got a lot of different plugins that I'm going to show you as we go on. There's a really good plugin. I'm just going to tell you to look at it yourself. It's called Link Reader. You may want to look at Link Reader, and I'll just give you an example of what it can do. It does SEO analysis on sites that you may be interested in. So I can tell it to do a full SEO. Great, my typing's bad when I'm under pressure. On, and let's just pick a random company, trustarc.com. And then it'll use that. It'll tell you it's going to use using the auto editor, and it's going to give us a full report on trustarc.com and tell us some suggestions we can do. And I'll show you how to use this more advanced and things like that. We're going to cover a lot more AI, and we're going to cover a lot more cool stuff. So TrustArc, there's your score report, 90 out of 100. Load time is good. Title is good. Meta description is good. And it goes through and it tells you everything that's good, and then it'll tell us if it's missing anything as well or things that we have to fix. Found 6 generic links, and that's just a simple one, and then you can download the report, which is pretty good. The plugin's by speedybrand.io, but then you can download the whole plugin. Don't bother doing that, because then they try to sell you on premium versions of their plugin and stuff. You don't really need to know all that. But it's just one of the good things you can do with ChatGPT, and I'll start to show you a lot more. There's lots of stuff we can do with it. So I'm going to stop sharing. Actually, first I'll show you this screen, because this is a screen you were talking about on how to find the domains, and I'll tell you some of the things I use to set it up when I'm looking for domains. So you can look for deleted domains which are available, or you can look for pending deletes which will be dropping domain names. And this is expireddomains.net. What do I like to filter? I only want characters. I only want English words. I want 1 to 3 words. And by the way, you can watch this video back later if I'm going too fast. Here I said I want domains that end in 1 to 7 days. Normally I don't do that. Normally I'll just do this, but I wanted to get some for the video. Normally I'll just say, give me domains that end tomorrow. And then it would do that. And then the other thing you have to do, everything's set up now, you go to additional, and I would pick if I wanted just com or if I wanted more than that. And then you hit no to the rest of them. And then you go ahead and just hit update filter. Now it's just going to show me names that are expiring tomorrow. I look at 3 things. I sort them by CPC because I want to see what has the most value. Some of these are a little bit long. Car study isn't. Sometimes I'll do it to 1 to 2 words because it's easier. And I'll take a look. And then I'll look at what the CPC is, see if I can find anything good there. Then I'll also look at competition, which means, is there a lot of ad competition for these terms? Wine Party Kit has a lot of competition. And you can see the competition. If it's 100, there's a lot. You can also sort by how long, when the domain was registered, how long ago. So some of these are registered in 1996. Banff Designs. Banff is a town in Vancouver. And you can go through and look at it that way. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I will. You can look at the LE as the length of the domain. So if you're looking for shorter domains that expired, you can see some of the shorter ones that are here. And we can go through all this at another time. And you can see they're all, those are all pending delete. You would do the same setup for dropping domains. Anyway, so let's go back to the questions. So that's where you can find the drops. Let's see, Bill is asking, do you think the overall portfolios have dropped or increased in the last year? So again, it really depends on the domains that you have. I don't think that everyone always says that domains they're not as good, they're not as valuable as they were, but they're still going to be as good. I'm actually working on a tool right now where I can go in and I can look at all those domains that drop, which is like 70,000 to 100,000 a day, and figure out which companies accidentally dropped their domain names, because that's what I'm really after. I've sold, it's no secret, I've sold wisecracks.ca to the same company 3 times because they keep forgetting to renew it, and I back order all of my domains that I sell, so I automatically pick them up again. I don't think the overall value of domain portfolios has dropped. I think that with the financial turmoil going on in the US and Canada and probably all over the world, it's a good time to filter the domains that you have and only keep the ones that have passed the portfolio criteria that we've looked at. Is there a company that can buy it? Does it have traffic? Has it have offers already? I mean, those are the big things. Is it something somebody's already interested in, or is it something that people just aren't interested in, you're just keeping it for your own benefit? But I would definitely look at that. Everybody's always filtering their portfolios and changing them, including me. It doesn't matter if you're a big portfolio owner or a small portfolio owner, you have to adjust. But generally, I would say that names are still selling. I can tell you that it is, I'm just looking at my calendar on my computer, it's January the 15th. I've sold 4 names so far in January. 2 for me and 2 for somebody else who's here watching this video. So I'll say they're still selling. I mean, if you have the right domain names, from what I've seen, if you have the right domain names and they're at the right price, you're going to sell them. And then you can also look at companies that have other extensions of the domains that you have and see if they're interested in buying them. But no, I think domains are always going to be good. It's always going to be hip-hop, and that's just the way it is. Anyway, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to post them now. Otherwise, we're going to end a little bit early today. Questions. And then you guys can go watch the Buffalo Bills, Pittsburgh Steelers football game that's starting now if you're into it, which I am. Okay, looks like we're going to do a quick wrap. Thanks everybody for coming. Hopefully you got some value out of it. I hope you're able to register some of the really good available names, and I hope you are lucky enough to pick up at least 1 or 2 of the drops if you're interested in them. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of the week.